Have you ever secretly asked yourself, am I heading towards senile dementia, forgetting to put your glasses on, having trouble remembering people's names, or walking into a room and forgetting why you're there? Then comes the fear. Is this the start of something more serious? If you're feeling this, you're not alone, and more importantly, it's not the end of the world. Today, we're going to talk about hope. That memory loss is not destiny. In many cases, it can be prevented, slowed down, even reversed, as long as we take care of our brains. Did you know that according to research, brain function can improve even after the age of 60? Yes, increase, not decrease. We often think that the older we get, the more forgetful, the slower, the more prone to dementia. But what if it's not a fixed fate? What if age is just a number and your brain still has the power to grow? According to Harvard, age is not the limit for the brain to develop. Even in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, cognitive abilities can remain sharp and even improve. Many people don't know that the human brain has an amazing ability called neuroplasticity. This means that the brain can form new connections, absorb information, and stay active as long as we give it the opportunity. In this video, you'll find 5 things you can do right away to maintain and improve brain function, based on research and real-life stories. If you care about the health of your mind in old age, this might be the start of a big change in your life. Imagine a 72-year-old man. Every morning, he sits in the corner of his living room with a small notebook. He writes a few sentences, an idea, sometimes just one word. Not because he forgot, but because he knows his brain is still alive. And he was right. Studies have found that brain function does not necessarily decline with age. In some cases, it actually increases. The parts of the brain that regulate empathy, decision-making, and reflection are actually more active in old age. This phenomenon is known as crystallized intelligence, wisdom born from life experience. But there is one condition. The brain is used, sharpened, challenged. Without that, even young brains can weaken. The study concluded one important thing. Thinking ability is not determined by age, but by how we treat our brains every day. I am reminded of the story of a man named James. He was 67 years old. He had just retired and decided to learn to paint. At first, it was just a light hobby, but over time, he felt more focused. His memory improved. He could sit still for hours, finishing small details in his paintings. What happened to James was no miracle. It's proof that the brain doesn't stop growing as long as we make room for it. And that's good news, because it means we all have a chance. But there's another side to this story. A brain that isn't used will slowly weaken. Like an abandoned garden, weeds grow, flowers wither, and the soil dries up. So it is with our brains. When it is no longer invited to think, feel, or learn, its abilities begin to decline. Concentration becomes short. The name of the person we just met just evaporates. Experts call this cognitive decline, a decline in cognitive function that comes slowly, quietly, and by the time you realize it, it's sometimes too late. But good news, all of this can be prevented with small steps, and it starts with the realization that our brains are precious and worth nurturing. First is learning something new, to reignite the idle brain. Every morning, Susan, a 68-year-old retired teacher, spends time at a small table by the window. In front of her are not cookbooks or gossip magazines, but Italian textbooks. She has never been to Italy, and probably never will. But for her, it wasn't about going somewhere. It was about going into her mind, reawakening a long, dormant curiosity. Learning new things is the most powerful way to stimulate the brain. According to research in the Journal of Gerontology, adults who learn new skills show improved working memory and thinking speed, even after the age of 60. It's not how difficult it is, but how meaningful the process is to you. A foreign language, painting, how to make a video, playing a musical instrument, or even just a new way of brewing coffee. All can be a small spark to reignite parts of the brain that have gone silent. Secondly, is your sleep quality. Many people think that the brain rests when we sleep. On the contrary, that's when the brain is hard at work putting together memory fragments, flushing out toxins, and strengthening connections between cells. According to Harvard Medical School, adequate sleep, especially deep sleep, is essential for consolidating long-term memory. Without it, the information we learn during the day will easily evaporate. It's not just about the number of hours, but the quality of sleep. A regular rhythm, a calm atmosphere, and a commitment to giving the brain time to repair itself. Now try to create a new habit. At 9 p.m., dim the lights in your room. Cell phone put away, television turned off. You can brew some herbal tea, read a few pages of a book, and then go to sleep. It's hard at first, but by now, your body will have memorized it. And the next morning, it feels different, lighter, clearer. Because sometimes the greatest gift to the brain isn't a smart book. It's a good night's sleep. And after a good night's sleep, thirdly, don't forget to move. Not just because your body needs to be fit, but because the brain needs movement. Every footstep improves blood flow. Every breath gives new oxygen to the mind. And every simple movement can be the most natural way to maintain memory. Research from the University of British Columbia found that light physical activity, like walking, can increase the size of the hippocampus, the part of the brain that's important for memory. No equipment, no trainer needed. Just 20 minutes a day, a leisurely walk in the morning or in the afternoon as the sky changes color. It's not the speed that matters. It's the regularity, small habits that are nurtured slowly. Because a healthy brain doesn't just need information, but also flow, motion, and breath. Once the body is moving, fourth, it's time to talk about fuel. Because like a delicate machine, the brain needs certain nutrients to work optimally. It's not just about satiety, but does the food support clarity of thought, or does it accelerate the fog in your head? Research suggests that diets like the Mediterranean diet, rich in vegetables, fruit, fish, and nuts, are associated with a reduced risk of cognitive decline. Some foods are even known as brain foods. For example, fatty fish, blueberries, leafy greens, virgin olive oil, walnuts, and almonds. And of course, minimize added sugar, because high sugar levels can disrupt memory-related areas of the brain. Mindful eating is not about strict dieting. It's about respecting the brain by giving it what it really needs. One healthy spoonful today could be one clear memory tomorrow. There is one thing that is often overlooked, but is actually very important for the brain. Interaction. Warmth from others. It's not a big thing. Sometimes it's just saying hello to a neighbor while watering the plants, making small talk with the grandchildren, or talking from the heart with an old friend over the phone. Turns out, it all strengthens the mind. Warm and meaningful social connections are one of the most influential factors on happiness and brain health in old age. Brains that are frequently engaged in communication become more flexible, more alert, more connected to reality, while persistent loneliness can cloud memories and quietly accelerate the decline of cognitive function. So don't take an invitation to chat lightly. Sometimes one light-hearted conversation can revive an entire day. And our brains know it because every time we listen, laugh, or share a story, there's a part of us that feels, I'm still connected, I'm alive. These 5 steps may sound simple, but it's precisely that simplicity that makes them powerful, because big changes often start with small habits, done consciously and with heart. Learn something new, get enough sleep, move, eating wisely, and opening yourself up to connect. That's how to take care of your brain, not by forcing it, but by loving it. But there is one more thing that is equally important, something that is rarely discussed, but can determine the direction of one's life in old age: motivation. Not just a momentary zeal, but a reason that makes us want to wake up early and continue to grow, despite our age. Imagine someone who wakes up every morning, not just because of an alarm, but because he has a reason, a purpose, something waiting to be accomplished, given, or even just presented. At the age of 60 and above, many people start to lose their roles. The kids have grown up, work is done, neighborhoods change, and routines shrink. This is where mentality is tested, and this is where hope can be reborn. Sense that life is still meaningful is associated with stronger cognitive function and lower risk of dementia. The brain responds to direction. When we feel life is still worthwhile, the brain is more active, more organized, more resilient to stress and mental decline. Life goals don't have to be big. It doesn't have to save the world. Sometimes it's enough tending to a plant every morning, writing a journal of experiences for grandchildren, volunteering at the local library, making time to listen to others. These are all forms of contribution, and contribution creates meaning, because as long as the brain is given a reason to live, it will continue to fire, slowly but faithfully. And perhaps that is the true secret of a long life full of clarity. The longer you live, the more stories you tell. And from those stories, something irreplaceable is born. Wisdom, not just a collection of facts. It's an understanding born out of failure, success, loss, and hope. In our youth, we often chase speed. But in old age, we begin to understand the value of slowing down, sitting for a moment, stare out the window, pondering, and being grateful. Self-reflection. The habit of reflecting on life experiences is closely linked to mental clarity and a sense of peace. Write a journal, praying, telling stories. These are not signs of weakness. It's a sign that we realize life is not just about surviving, but also about giving meaning. And if today you ask, am I too late to start? The answer is, not yet. As long as you are still breathing, can still feel the morning, and can still choose one small habit, then today can be the first day of a clearer life. Because our brain, like a garden, can always be regrown with love, with care, and with faith. That old age is not the end of clarity, but perhaps it is the culmination. If you feel like this video touched something in you, maybe it's because you know in your heart you're not done yet. There are still stories you want to write. There are still people you want to make happy. And most importantly, there's still a part of you that wants to keep growing, your brain. Don't let age limit you. Start small today. It could be reading, writing, walking, or just sitting quietly breathing and being grateful. And if you found this video useful, share it with someone you care about, a child, a spouse, an old friend, because maybe they need a reminder too, that our brains and our hearts can still shine at any age.